Hello.
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
What's going on with y'all, bro? How y'all? How y'all? What's up, Pop? What's up with you, Gerry?
Chilling, man. Chilling,
Yes.
man. How your
Chilling, chilling.
how your morning going?
Oh, man, man, usually I start my day off early. So I usually get up around about 4 or something. Uh, do a little journaling. Then after that, I get myself prepared to go work out. Usually, they open the gym down here at about 6:30, so I'll give me an early morning workout. And after that, I go to this little sobriety class I've been doing. And then just like, after that, I just pretty much I probably either reach out to my father or reach out to somebody on my call list and just see how everybody else going, how they doing. Just keep a positive energy going because, sometimes it can get chaotic because it's always changing the energy flow for the
Man,
most part.
I can only
But
imagine, man. We got you on the show. I just want to say, man, I want to thank you for coming on the platform. Uh, let's get into it, man. How has it been since you've been down there, like during your time? Has it been? How have you been doing?
man, I can say, man, a roller coaster, man, and it's a roller coaster because each institution, even not even institution, just each, environment, you are surrounded by so many different personalities.
Yeah,
And the process of being surrounded by all these different personalities, you get to seeing all these different type of characteristics, behaviors, more so to say. And so through that process of going through that, it's a filling out process. And you always try to surround yourself by people that you have in common, like something that you guys have some type of common basis. So
yeah,
the conversation could be mutual in the sense of saying. And so you find people that that's relatable in a sense. But through all that process, because I learned one thing for sure, sorry, two things for sure, when I was going through this or just adjusting to this lifestyle was when you away from people, you don't see certain characteristics of people.
mm-hmm.
But when you constantly surround people, you start seeing characteristics like, damn, what makes this dude do this? Or what makes that dude do that? What was the common sense in, moving like that? Like, a lot of guys move with like a chicken with their head cut off.
And
And so, like, it's just like the adjustment, just trying to adjust that because it's a lot of, it becomes irritating in a sense because people do stuff and you're like, man, damn, is this dude trying me? And this is because of the image you, whatever you may or may not have of yourself. You throw everything into question. Like, everything seems like somebody's challenging you. And so this impulsive state now because you taking into account to what you always hear about prison or going to prison or how it's amplified on TV. And then that's how you go into the thing and think like, man, I wish somebody would try me. I wish somebody would do this. I wish somebody would do that. I'm gonna show them that I ain't soft. I ain't showing them I ain't this. I ain't showing them I ain't that. A lot of times it don't even be that. It just be just like it'd be a lot of ignorant behavior that it goes on, and it's what I was able to just grow into it, I guess, and see it just what it seemed more to me. It's like a daycare, man, a grown ass daycare for grown people, man. And I don't mean like grown as on a mental, but grown, physically grown, but mentally like stumble or mentally challenged in the sense that they can't come up out of that just that lack of thinking. The more so, say, put it that way. So through that process, even it was with me too, because I didn't really start self teaching myself until I started really getting into my bed, because I kind of feel like you go through the phases. The lifestyle how you was last you live in the street or whatnot,
mm-hmm.
you take it into this environment, then you adjust to your environment. And then you implement the certain lifestyle that how you move on the street, you find it in here because all this is just a smaller version of the street with certain like a small radius of how you can move, but it's the same different type of characteristics. Like this dude over here in the streets, okay, they might be jackers. These dudes over here, these might be hustlers. These dudes over here might be addicts. These dudes over here just might be the silly dudes. And now we all bunched up in this small little room, so now I can understand these different type of characteristics. Because on the street, certain type of dudes I probably wouldn't be around. So
Yeah.
I didn't really understand their movement other than what I hear about them. But now that I was able to get a close up on these different type of characteristics, I'm like, damn, okay, these. So when I see these certain type of movements and these certain type of body language, this is kind of an indicator. This is how this dude will perform over time, or this is how this dude will act. So I know how when I need to start playing him. So I really just start molding myself for just how different behaviors of people in the streets because it was just locked up. 9 times out of 10 are guys that came from the streets, from situations like ours, or just probably made a mistake and did some shit due to rough times and committed a crime and got them here. And that's how I just really just start forming just like the environment. And
Um,
so,
I want to ask you another question. I was going over your Instagram videos, and you said something that
yeah,
touched me. You said the streets are not made for longevity. Could you enlighten on that?
and, yeah, that's so true. Because when it boils down to it with the street, it's either one or two roads. It's either you're going to jail or you're gonna get buried. Because it's so much talking like there's so much things that are stacked up against you, deck wise. And a lot of times young youth, even with me, we don't know all the players in the game. We only think it's the people that's in the street. It's more players in the game because the street endeavors always lead to, it always go against the contrary of the laws of the land. And now when you get it implement the laws of the land, now you're playing a whole different type of game. And if you don't understand that type of game, they're going to go across your head for real. And so my thing really been, what I've been saying to a lot of these little young guys that come in here since I'm more older and I got matured, I actually was able to mature through this process, is what is your exit plan? Because the street is not longevity for nobody. It's short term. It's always just supposed to be, at the end of the day, for our current situation, we can use that current situation for the best of our ability and get the hell up out of it. Because of now, what I've been seeing, and I had read a Bible verse, what they always say, the greatest trick that the devil could have ever played on mankind was trick them and teach them that he don't exist.
Mm.
And then when I started looking at it, I'm like, that's crazy because it got to be the devil's always in detail. And if you look how the street mentality now, everybody hustle like it's legal.
Yeah,
Like
especially on the
it's
internet,
legal or
it's
is it get
everywhere.
out of jail free? yeah, that's my point exactly. Like you display this, you brandishing this iron, you uploading this money, you don't got no EIN number, you don't got no business to prove that you came with this. So it got to be legal. It got to be legal. Or it just got to be the devil in the detail that convince you that it is. Like, hey, you're not gonna get in trouble. It's okay. You can get whatever. You can do this. I got your back because that's what the game is. It's the devil, and the devil is a hell of a cold fucking female. I don't know if you allow cussing or not, but a bitch.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what really
you can
ain't a cuss
cuss on
word,
here.
but hey, that's but she is a bitch in form, and she gonna let you be lavish. But that's what I have read a lot of on with fortune. Fortune loves the lust of fortune. Loves the wild, the bold, and the rambunctious. And that lifestyle, just like it, it just it's too much stacked against it, man. And I always like, you know, we we all. I ain't gonna say we all dropped the ball. I ain't gonna say it's not at all, but we all can do better in the sense of just having these dialogues and these conversations. And that's why I do appreciate the fact that you allow me to be able to put my voice on your platform to amplify it and get it out there as a message. Because hey, I was a part of the problem when it boils down to it. Because regardless of the fact of my intentions through the loved ones supporting my family or providing in a sense, it still was out of blood money in the sense of saying of how I was accumulating the money that I was into through the streets. And so I need to get back and rectify my situation of being part of that problem and try to be part of the solution. You know, if that's the conversation, the talking to the youth, getting people while they're younger and just, having these conversations because you have one conversation with a young guy or maybe two or a few that don't work. I learned over time you gotta have to be repetitive. You gotta have to keep hit at these points, these marks, because when you're young, you're more impulsive. And a young dude will sit here and listen to you all day, but once you out at the door and they back around their peers, they back into their impulsive state.
Oh, another ball game. Yep.
And yep, it's a whole nother ball game. And then a lot of times, I under the scenes, just through the trials and tribulation I had to go with my son, you got to learn how to hold them accountable, but don't lecture them and don't, you know, you know, you know, pound something in them or just being authoritative to them. Being able to let them sit there and talk and explain, and they got to have a voice in the matter because it's also their life. But you being your parent, or you being a friend, or you being just some type of adult that's trying to, at the end of the day, change that situation around. You got to let them know, and you got to help them feel that their opinions do matter, and help them understand certain things. And the only way you can do that is teaching them how to be able to be more, not to say cooperative, but more communicative in their conversation. So man, yeah, like I say, man, when it comes back to the game and longevity, the game ain't built for longevity. It's short-term plays, man. Get in, get out. There's one thing I also learned. They always say, there's the top 1% that's billionaires within this country. Then you got multi-millionaires. Then you got people that's in the hundreds and such things, the working class. If you put that on the flip side to the game, it's only 1%. Probably not even that. Probably a 0.5% of people that actually make it out the game and don't ever see no jail time or nothing. And usually the chances of that being that way, you got to be able to be meticulous. And a young mind is hard for you. Like you gotta be able to. You gotta have an exit plan. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna take it out of. Now I'm not promoting street lifestyle because at one point in time that's what I was a part of through my youth, through my ignorance, because this is the culture I grew up in. So when I used to see it on TV, I see the guy, I'm like, this is the way how I'll be able to come up. This is the way how I can be able to get out of the streets or do what I need to do, because we didn't believe in slow money. I seen my parents work. I seen my mom work. I seen the effort my dad was putting in to become successful through his entrepreneur business trip. I'm like, I'm seeing the other guys that older than me, just a little bit older than me, but they got the things that I want. With the cars, the jewelry, the beautiful women, the lustful lifestyle, man. And one thing, like just being a kid and just being ignorant, just influenced by that, I chose that path. All broke down to choices.
So
And
basically,
that's how just to make a.
did
Go ahead.
did you? So you basically saying you help with your own. Not saying I want to watch my words. Not destruction, but like it put you in that position that you're in.
Yes, of course I contribute to it because of course ultimately it was my choice that I made. Now due to the maybe lack of knowledge, the environment factors, maybe just not enough of this or not enough of that, but ultimately what it boils down to it was a choice that I made. Now, if I had better information and a better understanding, would I made that choice? No, of course not. But just due to like certain situations, the environment, the people you're around, it don't even seem like a choice. It just seems like it's a part of life. It just seems like this is a part of life. This is what we are supposed to do, and that's how it comes out. It don't even seem like a choice is really in effect. It seems like this is what it seems like you are. The culture we're in, it seems like we are self-taught. You know how when you're a little kid and your cousin do something to
Yeah.
you, and they're like, "You better not tell. I'm gonna whoop your ass just for telling. I'm gonna do this just for that." Or you are woke up like a certain way, because that's also the dangerous thing about how we are. We have to grow up so quick because how we perceive the law to be towards us, our kind, and so we are very rejective of them. So like, and then it's just the exposure, like just being able to have the accessibility to certain things.
Man,
And it plays a part of destruction. Like I say, I was a part of the problem due to the choices I made. And then now you got a culture, environment, a youth that's more rambunctious, more vicious because it's crazy. Like I say, and one of my things, like, it's crazy. When I was younger, you would never see nobody like, you didn't have to worry about no 10, 11, 12, or 13 or 14-year-old coming up on you with, some type of brandishing some gun or, trying to knock you down. It just wasn't, it wasn't just imaginable. In a sense, they still could be a kid. They still was a kid. But now in the days, because the demographic group, in a sense, changed as in who they listen to. They listen to them young guys. They listen to even younger guys. I mean, not even younger, but they're older guys. It's only 18, 19, 20. What they consider to be big homies. And they, and then they getting it from the older guys that's 20, 25. I mean, 25, 26. That's passing it down. And it just each person passing on. And then, like, they don't have what it seems like they just don't have that conscious recognition of understanding just the destruction. This the mass destruction. Like, damn it, it's crazy, man. Like like what it boils back down to. It's crazy. It boils the blind leading the blind, man. And then when they get up here, they be lost. They be lost. I see it all the time. They come in here just lost, and then I hear guys say like, man, damn, these dudes don't know how to move. No, they didn't know how to move out there. Of course. I said, there ain't nothing different from, I said, before they was in here, they was out there, and they're just coming here and they're just showing you how the mental state is, how people thinking out there. And, who do you blame? Who do you bring attention to? You really, at the end of the day, if you get to blaming, you just pointing fingers. That's not the way how you get to any solution to anything. Having these open conversations, yeah, they start a point, but it's not generating enough buzz because that's not what's selling. The culture, the lifestyle, that's what's selling. That's what's in. Me pulling up with this Draco, me pulling up with this liquor, me upping all these bands, me pulling out this change. This is the lifestyle. This is what's selling. This is what I see on the ground. So this is what I'm imitating. It's dangerous, man. At the end of the day, if you're going to export it, you're going to play it to your advantage, man. Sell it to, man, at the end of the day, have an exit plan. Strategic planning, man, to get out of your position. So at the end of the day, you break some generational curse, man. Building generational wealth. The knowledge, the information is out there. It wasn't out there when I was younger like it is now. When you got all that just at the disposal of your hand, just typing and looking shit up. It's out there, but if people ain't putting that information out there like that to look at or posting, which a lot of people are, but that's not attractive to the younger eye. The younger eye is chasing fame, and fame don't always bring fortune. Them two different things. They can exist in the same place, but they also are two different. You can be famous and broke. You can be rich and unknown.
Yes, sir.
I have to say anything about that. Let me ask you a question in the process of this.
Go
When
ahead,
you
bro.
was coming up, you was able to make your choices, right? And
Yeah.
your choices was, even though I was a part of the street, or I grew up in the street, I didn't interact with the streets in the sense that could lead me into where I'm at right now.
You
So I
said
guess my question,
my bad, my bad. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
I said the question was, okay, we come up in the culture. The
Yeah.
culture we came in is the streets that we grew up in. But can you give examples of how you was able to sidestep these pitfalls without indulging into the activities that could lead into these type of environments? Because it's possible. Proof of that is the conversation with me being able to have with you right now. The things you are doing, you being able to be lucrative to what you do, the promoting, the DJ, and all the other stuff. Because there's a million ways that you can make money. The street game is just a small aspect on a big worldly game or corporation and business that be made. But if the information is not out there, boy, if the lack of hustle, just the lack of drive to, pursue it, it's not out there, then what you go to the next thing. Because one thing I have seen, like I always tell, that's what's so shaky and flaky about the street game nowadays, anybody could be in position of so-called power because it doesn't take nothing at all. It don't take nothing at all for a person to blow up overnight,
Hmm.
especially with the game or the drug of choice that's being able to sell nowadays. Because overnight you'll be able to make that. And so Leon do like, man, now I can make that. What you talking about making? What you made in 10 years, I can make that in 3 months. So that devil is a motherfucker, man.
Man,
Like it's just so lustful, man.
I really had to. With me, I had to learn it was, something happened to me where a guy pulled a gun on me, right, in front of my kid. And, I had to think, was his money and his lifestyle really worth it? So I had to learn that it's not about the race, it's about running the marathon. And I was lucky enough
Yeah,
to see people that I grew up with in the neighborhood. I watched Jack Leg die. I watched a lot of homies die early, and I just was happy. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And it's like what you said. Like when you surrounded about certain people, I learned to surround myself around. I noticed when I wanted to stop gang banging, I had friends that was like, "Shit, go ahead. You ain't got to go on this mission with us." So I started taking that, and then I was just blessed to have. I changed my circle, and I took it from there for real. And it took me a long time to get used to that
yeah,
marathon because you'd be like, "Man, this ain't moving like I." But man, when you wake up and be like, "Man, I can move the way I want to move and do what I want to do," so that's probably my answer to that. But I don't know how much
yeah,
time we got, but I want to get into because we need you home. I read your paperwork this morning, and brother, we need you home. You mean so much to this community, and I think you are one of the voices that can help this community. They scream your name, but they don't know the guy that we know. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the change and how far you came. So I want to get into not all the way into the case, but I want to know what are some of the things like it would seem like it was some loopholes in the paperwork I was reading, and I want to get your side
yeah.
of your story and get so we can start getting this out. So I want you to elaborate on that.
Oh man, it all started like I say. I could just start just the introduction of what pretty much brought the case forward. It was the lifestyle, I was living, and so coming up in the streets, I guess, I would hustle. My
Hmm.
drug of choice, what I sold crack cocaine in the city streets. Well, not even the city streets, but more so in the neighborhood that I was a hand to hand transaction in a sense. So through my through my rigorous, I guess, time that I spend in the streets, because I'm pretty much I'm donating all my time in the streets. I'm there like damn near 24/7. I'm hustling from sun up to sundown, and in the process of doing all that, one thing that's always going to kick in is you're gonna have to get some sleep. And so I was trying to figure out how can I stay up and don't miss no plays because I want to come down this summer. I want to, at the end of the day, I want to floss.
Hmm.
So I end up getting introduced to some ecstasy to an old friend of mine. So rest in peace to him. He ended up exposing it to me. Like, man, if you trying to stay up and you trying to miss no plays, man, just take half of this, man. I ain't gonna give you a whole one. They keep you up all night. I got the I ended up popping that. It was the guy I ended up locking in with. That's what we used to do. We used to lock in the winter with certain people, and he pretty much was just schooling me in a sense. I just got out of high school. I just graduated high school, and then in the process of graduating high school, my mom ended up helping me. The car that I ended up having at the time helped me. She bought the car, but I ended up putting the rims on the car for graduation. And the guy, forced to speed that up a little bit, the guy I ended up locking up with, older dude that was from my neighborhood, named Rose, and ended up dying. He ended up pretty much just like giving me the game on certain aspects of just like the hustle game. And so, he'll let me make some little runs off his plays, little stuff I was catching at the Hill and Win stores. I guess that's what the neighborhood I was up at. I started jugging. I started really jugging like tough, and then just doing that. And so through all that process of just stuff, I ended up was able to accumulate enough money to fix my engine up, redo my car and all that stuff. So the next thing was I started going out. I started going out a lot. Me and my peers, we just started going out riding around because in the process of me fixing up my car, also other guys within my neighborhood, we was all on the same thing because we used to just motivate each other. Not in like we was in competitive towards each other, but motivate each other like, shit, this is what we're going to do. We all locked in. We all brothers, you know. Ain't nobody better than other. We all shit. We all going to eat together. We all going to, come together and collaborate. So in the process of doing all this, we was going out. Now in the process of going out, we became very what you would call like just flamboyant in a sense and flashy. You know, we at the bar, we buying stuff, you know, we talking, conversating, we hollering, you know, we celebrating our we displaying the effort that we put forth at that winter. So in the process of doing all this, we have a lot different eyes or different people from different sides that's just viewing and looking at that situation a whole lot different. You know, if you want to call it hating or disagreeing or whatever it may or may not be. So we end up finding ourselves just getting into altercations after the bar. Now, before we start going out, the side of town I'm from was perceived in a certain light. Like, okay, these dudes get money, but these dudes are hoes, they soft, they weak. You can just take their stuff. And so I guess more so with me, I was able to put a different spin on that. Because I wasn't going. I wasn't letting nobody take nothing from me that I didn't work hard for. And so a lot of people will start seeing this, man. We get in altercations 9 times out of 10 it's because of somebody saying some shit or doing some shit. You know, at the end of the day, I'm like, man, yeah, I bet not us, nigga. Ain't nothing sweet about us. You know, you got a problem with him, you got a problem with me at the end of the day. And it started with altercations every week. It'd be something. We get into it with somebody every week and lead up. And so that's really what started really just forging my image of who I was. Cause the image was more so what people seen through the transactions of being out. And so they was like, oh, this dude, oh, he got done work, such. And then people wanted to challenge him. Like, oh, that nigga ain't sweet. Because he's from out of this certain town, they sweet. That ain't true. Well, how much time left? That ain't the truth of the matter, or what people thought they could see. And so just to speed up the process, so I guess the incident really that got me here today ain't really the incident of me really getting into it with somebody. It was more so the applications of just the behavior of more so, like I said, the younger generation up under me, which was my brother and them, that was getting into it with a certain side of town about some shit, I guess some high school stuff. And I end up interfering in it like, man, hold on. It was guys my age trying to jump on them. I'm like, man, no, I'm not about to fight these little dudes. Man, y'all around my age because of whatever's going on between y'all. So I try to mediate it in a sense, trying to prevent it. But, you know, in the process of me mediating and stopping it, this was a week before the incident ended up taking place. We end up coming back out of the club. Motherfuckers get to hurling bricks at us, just hurling them at us, throwing them. So everybody that's coming out the club, cars getting windows bust out, people getting hit.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Okay. That's what's up. So in the process, what I was going about with the guys is hurling bricks, and then people that were coming out the club, and guys, my little bro, and them, they go hurling bricks after them. So in the process of the bricks getting, windows get busting out, somebody's jaw ended up getting broke in that process. And so when his jaw get broke, they all about to rush him because he was a part of the group that started throwing the bricks. And so when everybody got to rushing him, like from my side, because they about to just really just dog him out, I stopped it. I'm like, no, chill out. Like, he already done. Look at him. He bleeding out the mouth. It's him and another guy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, go ahead. Give him a pass on this thing. Next thing you know, I'm being blamed for the shit. And that's one thing I start seeing. Like, even if me being there, altercation or just, just because of the group of guys that I was with, like, they was always tugging them. It was tugging them. It was tugging them. And sometimes I didn't even get into the altercation or anything, or me just stopping, and some shit probably just take off, and then my name will always be brought up in it, and so this just built the hype of the image of me. And so when people just heard me that didn't really know my character, because more so people that been around me grew up with me, the person you hear today was even the same guy for the most part. Then I just was a younger version of it. I had to really mature into it. And so they knew my character. Like at the end of the day, this dude, you know, what he's saying, like that's just how he talks, you know. I'm not always been a down to earth, you know, cool, collected guy for the most part, you know, honest, fair is fair, wrong is wrong, right is right.
Yeah.
I'm not, even if you, a guy that I knew for the entire of my life, if you want the bull stuff and you did some bull crap, now I'm gonna call you out on it. Like, man, at the end of the day, I don't condone bullshit at all. I don't stand by it, I don't stand with it. This shit stinks, and I don't even want it around me. And so, what I tend to see, like, I start getting recognition as this leader of this group of individuals, this side of town. And I'm like, man, I ain't a leader of anything. I'm a leader just of my own domain, me. But if anything that I can say that I gave to these group of individuals, I gave them their heart to stand up for stuff that shit. Just don't let nobody push you around. And that's what I kind of think I played more of a part of just giving people their voice. And so, go back to that topic. Stuff got this spewing out, I guess, from this little side of town. From this side of town, they were feeling some type of way about what happened about their friend getting his jaw broken in that process. So, the following week, the week of the incident, pretty much about the case. I don't know what the hell was going through my little brother head and my co-defendant head. But they thought it would be okay to go on that side of town and pull up in the store. So in the process of them doing all that, the guys that they've been into it with from that side of town, they surrounded them. And they could have really did them off when they didn't. And due to, like, I had still relationships with guys over there side of town because, like I said, I never had a problem with that side of town. If anything, I was just trying to mediate that situation and dead it. But somebody ended up kicking the car. So what it ended up, my brother didn't come back. I text my little brother up at AutoZone trying to fix the car because he didn't want to take it to my mom. So I ended up pulling up him. And I wasn't even mad at them at all. I was mad at him because I wanted it. I sat there and I scolded him, like, not to say like a little child, but I said, sit here and explain to you, why would you even go over there if you know you've been into these dudes in school and whatnot? Like, please help me understand this. Like, what the hell was y'all thinking? Oh, you giving me like this vague response. I'm like, no, for real. Like, why would you do that? Like that's the most dumbest shit I ever heard. Like, who the hell you think you are? But then again, that boils back to the fact of what he's seen, the altercations, and kind of, I guess, the kind of behavior that I was performing to contribute to him feel like he could walk like that in that light. And me being younger at that time, I didn't understand it, but as time progressed and my mind matured, I started, looking back at some situations and like, damn, that's why the fuck we did that. And so that following week, I ended up talking to one of the guys at the club, whatever. And I'm like asking him what happened, and he telling me what happened, what played out, such. I'm like, okay, man, that's cool, man. My mom got insurance. It really ain't a big thing. I ain't even sweating the situation. And I thought after that, it was that. The next thing I know, I'm hearing like it's big, like a big conversation that's going on within the crowd of people. We inside the blueprint. And they like, man, such and such, these guys outside, they want you. Oh, I'm like, who? And they're like, shit, it's a whole bunch of them. They're all out there. They come out, tell you to come out. So when I come out, I'm like, I'm about to go out there. Like, so the crowd of people the people that I was with, I'm like, no, y'all sitting here. Because if they see me come out with all y'all, then some shit gonna jump off. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm not trying to have to do. So I try to go out there to conversate with them to see what the fuck going on. To my knowledge, I thought everything was dead. Or when I had a conversation with dude, I thought, at the end of the day, I didn't think it was really that serious, but I guess they still feel some type of way about what happened to the guy previous. So when my process of going out there to conversate with him, I'm walking across the street to go ahead and just meet up with the guys that was all standing out there outside the club. And then the police just end up swooping up on me and end up picking me up and put me in the back of the police car and then disperse the crowd. So leading up to that, they end up letting the club out. We end up going. We was about to go up to the gas station, but when we went up to the gas station, we just seen there was too many people up there that was from that side of town, and I could see just by their body movement, their body behavior. I said, "Nah, some bullshit gonna end up happening." So I end up calling my brother, my middle brother. I ended up calling him, seeing where they was at. They told me they was over there on Lincoln, so we ended up pulling up over there and just kicking it up at the house over there for a minute, just doing our little 1-2 routine. And so in the process of us pulling up over there, we all getting out the car. It's me, my dude E, T1, and my dude Brandon, which became my co-defendant. So we end up getting out of the car. I get out of the passenger side. My phone end up ringing. I end up talking to a female that I'm dealing with at the time. And she asked me if I'm going to come over there and such stuff. I'm like, yeah, as soon as I leave over here, I'm going to be able to pick you up. So another car that ended up pulling up right on the side of E car. And we hear some noise. Then I see my co-defendant just pretty much get frank and get to screaming and stuff. And you hear the click and shit, but ain't nothing happened in the car, just speed it off. So he get to, humping up and down. He's saying a certain name, man, they just try to such. So we can't calm him down. We're trying to calm him down, and he real frantic. He off the liquor. He didn't pop the pill, so he all just frantic and stuff. So I'm like, man, come on, let's just take him down to my auntie house. Yeah, cool him off. So we end up taking him down to my auntie house and such and such. And so as I come out of my auntie house, I get a phone call. So the phone call is from a certain dude I had met in the club. I had talked in the club that dead situation. So he like, hey, man, I just want to fight such and such, man, and I just want to, I pretty much want to dead the situation. So I ain't thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking it's just him in the car. I'm like, just make sure nobody don't jump me. I'm like, listen, man, I'm gonna line it up, man. We over here, bro. And after that, man, it's just dead the situation. He like, everything such that he said whatever he had said, what if I can remember it correctly on that part. And he like, yeah, so we just thinking, I'm thinking it's just him. So I end up going back down to Lincoln with the other guys, and I then told him like, hey, what's his name want to hit with you, and he just want to dead the situation. He gonna come over here, man. Y'all don't jump and let dude get his one, and then just end the situation. Whatever y'all got the fuck going on, so y'all get over with the shit. Nip the shit in the bud. So in that process, everybody that's over there, we just see this cascade of cars coming down the street, so we ain't thinking nothing of it. We thinking it's an after hour that's over there on Palm, where we thinking they just cutting off from leaving from the gas station and they going there. When they end up coming down there, that same car that pulled that my co-defendant was jumping and hooting and hollering about, that car just stuck out the window and a shotgun blast just went off. And in the process of when that shotgun blast went off, just a whole cascade of just gunfire just rapidly just got to going off, so everybody got to taking cover. After that, man, you hear tires squealing, motherfuckers just get up and everybody dispersed and just ran to the closest, resident that they know. And then after that, we sat and we talked about the situation at that night to fall out, just as stuff unfolds, and we just all sitting back like, damn, this shit about to be crazy. And I'm like, man, you know what, man? I said, this is the first thing I remember. I remember as clear as day. I said, man, you know what? I said, they're going to blame me for this shit. I already know what's about. They about to blame me for this shit. A couple of days later, and that's the end of what the fuck happened, man. And then, 16, 17 years, that's where we at. And then now, going to the trial, man, it just was a lot of fugazi and a lot of bullshit, man. When you say hoes, I mean hoes out of this world. how they spin the story and made it seem like I was the aggressor. I was the one that was, agitating the situation. I was the one that lured these guys over here to set these guys up to do that. And that damn sure wasn't the truth of the story. And that's what we got here today. I mean, and then it's just hard because how do you, with me having to go up and see these people and talk about this situation, how can I explain the situation and play my part into it? And then it makes it seem if I tell the truth about the situation, what happened, then it looks like I have no remorse. It looks like I have no empathy about the situation. I'm sorry that the person passed, but at the end of the day, no, not even at the end of the day, because that's a crutch word I constantly go through that me and my dad been pretty much trying to reconstruct my talking pattern on that end. How do I express myself in a sense? Because that's one thing I've never been able to do is sit here and just fabricate stuff and lie. I always stand in my truth of who I am. And that's why it comes so easy to flow for me to just conversate and speak on certain things because I just speak on what I know and facts that I learned over the time. How do I sit here and tell these people this truth to the story, what I'm sharing with you? Because in their eyes, it's going to look like you had no remorse. So then I have to lie and say something that I didn't do, admit to some shit I didn't do, and say I did do. It's just, when I say, man, I've been wrestling with that monster for the longest. Like, how do I step out of bounds of being who I am, being somebody I know I'm not? I ain't never had to use no gun. I ain't never had to carry no gun. I was well equipped with my hands. I never got into a situation where it felt that serious where I had to use a gun to defend or perpetrate or use on somebody. I was never placed in that way. I didn't have to use it. I had a problem with somebody. I didn't have mine getting a tree. I'm not that generation. I didn't mind putting my hands up. I want mine to get. I didn't care win, lose or draw. My motto was win, lose or draw. I'm going to make you respect me, regardless of the fact if I win, I lose, or I draw. You're going to respect me. At the end of the day, how many numbers is that?
15.
I said it 15 times. I swear I thought I was catching myself. I got the little points on there. I thought I caught myself, but I was into the conversation. And I wrestled with it, and then this is a conversation I had with Dad where he told me just try to be cautious of the fact, but, I just got to be real with him, man. That's all I could do. I could just put my side of the story, the situation, how it unfolded. I let people run with it. Fight me or help me, you know what I mean? All I can do is get to, put my side of it, the incident, pretty much what took forth.
Man, that's the story you just told is deep. It gave me chills just now hearing that, and being from around this way, we all knew that story that you told, and I want to ask because first of all, before I even do all that, I want to take the time to tell you, bro. I want to give you your flowers, bro. Your flowers of being a leader because I done had people like my dude Jonathan J Rock was just down there with you, and he speaks so highly of you.
Yeah.
He spoke so highly of you, bro. He like, man, I met stay in the library, a whole different person, bro. And just hearing that, he was like, man, he even though he just got in some little trouble, he still say like, man, he inspired me to think kind of different. And I want to be able to give you your flowers, bro, because a lot of people won't put their story out, and I feel like I told you before, people scream your name and say your name, but they just don't know how good of a heart, how smart of a brother you were, or you are. And I just want to take the time out to give you your flowers. I'm pretty sure you don't get them like you should. And that's what we do on this My Truth podcast show. And I want to thank you and your father, man. Just seeing your relationship, just from that first call we had, I was just like, man, you know what? And you said something in here. I feel like I got a 17-year-old son. How I should be with him, like instead of scolding, man, talk to him and sit him down and be a certain way with them. You know what I'm saying? Because as we was growing up, people be on their kids like, man, I want you doing this shit. I want you pulling this instead of talking to them and finding a solution and making them comfortable. So I would just,
Yeah,
I want to
definitely
thank
have
you,
them accountable. It, Go ahead.
and I want to also, how can we get this process? Because I read the appeal stuff too. How can we get in this process? Because the time is coming up, man. They gave you what, 18, 17 years?
18 with an L. So this shit's so crazy because I got hired a private investigator, and in the process of hiring a private investigator, I've been trying to get the certain exploratory evidence that somehow they don't know what happened to them because over the course of the time, a lot of guys that did get on the stand and say a certain thing of me having a gun or whatnot, their testimony, they're like, man, listen, they pretty much coerced us and forced us to say what we said, and that's what brought charges upon you that they were telling us. And they're like, if you get them evident tape of viewing there, you'll see we never said that in the first place. We was coerced. And so it's ironic that they keep spinning this investigator that I pretty much hired on my case that they don't know what happened to the case. We know the tapes exist. It's a record of the tapes existing, but they just don't know where the hell what happened to them. And then the most funniest thing ever is, how do you charge me and my co-defendant separately, but y'all don't even have the criminal complaint of how y'all even charged him or what even brought charges on him for us in the first place? Now, we were charged at two different occasions at two different times. I was arrested first, and he came after. What brought the evidence upon him to even file a criminal complaint to get an indictment warrant for his arrest? They keep telling him it's everything that was in my case, it's in his. And I know that not to be true. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, when I say a fight after a fight, but let me test myself before that be 16. It's just a persistence. Just keep staying persistent and not giving up, man. That's what I can tell anybody that's going through this, man. Don't let them have the last say so, man. God is always in there, and I always see him in there. Even when it been days I've been ready to just throw it in that towel like this person this situation or this system that I'm fighting, boy, this is one of the most hardest fight I've ever been in my entire life. But the benefits and the rewards after it, it's astronomical with the type of individual it end up shaping me to be going through this. Person and molding me to be the man that I am. The time and the consistency I was able to pour into my son because I didn't want him to travel in the same footsteps. I was so terrified hearing that, and I just could only imagine the people, even the victim on my case, parents, they even got that phone call. Cause that's the first thing I saw when I heard when my son, he started and acting, trying to live a lifestyle that wasn't for him at all. And it scared the shit out of me. I mean, shitless. I started on myself. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. That's how serious it was for me. Like, I'm like, damn. And when I started really pour into him, like I talked to, it was just a consistency, like every day, son, daughter, call both, constantly, just to constantly make my presence known, just to let them know the constant pouring, the constant love you, all that. Just doing everything in my power just to get the conversation flowing, to get them just to talking, to getting out of their shell, being able to get that interactive moment with them. And then, like, when I tell them, like, with me not being there physically, I got to go over and beyond with the emotion and the mental. I got to be always that present to where I constantly talk and I'm constantly planting seeds in you. When you don't even talk to me, actually, you constantly hear my voice and resonating in the back of your mind. And then it's just like me asking questions, just sparks a conversation and gets them to have that interaction conversation amongst each other, like letting them know their voice, their opinion, it matters. They have a say so in this because this is a relationship. Now, I'm not here to be your friend at all, but I'm here to help you the best ability I possibly can. I mean, that's key, man. That's key with the kids, man. I swear that's key, especially going through this situation. I only can speak on the situation because the I only can stick on that issue until this issue changed and I'm out there and I can show them exactly. Same person that how I speak and talk in here is going to be the same dude out there times 10.
Man,
And that's just pouring endless love into you.
that's deep. I kind of need to hear those words, brother. I really need to hear those words, man, because being out here and having a son in this area, it's total. Like you said earlier, it's totally different because we fought, we threw hands. It was arguments being in the neighborhood. He got the best hands. He got the best hands.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name? Such and such can't whoop him from over here. They don't have them conversations no more. It's
Yeah,
who the shooter, who
yeah.
would do this.
And that was crazy because that's how I end up a lot of altercation beginning with other people because they wanted to prove I didn't have these so-called hands within these city streets that we lived in. And that's where a lot of, but it was just all about fighting. Once you fighting, you sway because your best against my best. And then once that was settled, then hey, we go on about our day. It wasn't never got that serious. But certain actions, like it became a domino effect to like more so negligent behavior, man. If anything, man. But nothing pre-planned. Nothing was pre-planned at all.
You told me last time we talked some of the programs. Do you want to elaborate some of the programs that you help with in there?
Yeah, so I've been doing sobriety and recovery, like a sobriety program, just like they're addictive, my addictiveness. And see, this one thing I had to take heed to because I know it wasn't really the drugs, it was more so the lifestyle that I lived that I was so addicted to, or addicted to in the sense of when I'm coming up in, that led to the drugs, led to, the adultery rage. It just led into staying into a lifestyle that kept me into that criminal behavior. And so I've been like just staying within that, just a continued care. And through all the process of all that, I also was able to enroll myself into college, which this time next year I will be graduating with 2 associate degrees, business management, supply chain, and logistics management, which I will
Congratulations,
acquire
bro.
by this time. Yeah. And that's crazy because also I've been doing something with a stock program that I've been teaching myself how to, well, not even myself, but me and a couple guys, we help facilitating with teaching guys just the basic understanding of stocks, the tickers, their function, what to look in, how to be strategic in that movement of just looking at stocks through the resistance and the support bands and just giving them more avenues and more, just trying to give them like it's a million ways that you can make money, man. Especially the key thing, help making passive income. So even if you're working a 9 to 5, you still have a passive income coming in. It's nothing different than a 401k. But this time you got control of what is being invested in instead of, the company that, supports your 401k. And then I've just been doing just mentoring. Like just anything with just mentoring and just, sparking them conversations with individuals, younger guys, younger generation, man, just trying to pour into people. Not even just in here, but also I've been doing it out there. So one of my guys with a nonprofit organization, he's big with helping the kids, and I've been really just connecting and talking to him and building and communicating with the kids. He also has a little mentor thing called Toledo Urban Youth Sports League, and I've just been pointing into and conversating with a lot of little young guys that's underprivileged and at risk, and just pointing into that situation with them kids, just trying to be more positive, man, because it's
It's
with
tough.
us being creatures of habit, Yes, well, especially us being creatures of habit, we adapt to our environment. And if our environment is just always chaotic and destructive, that tends to be the way of our behavior. And I noticed that. And so I also have to keep a picture of myself. I got to be able to have a safe spot. And my safe spot is always through this phone. You know, the conversations, the pouring the positive energy, getting the positive energy poured back into me. And if I feel like anybody is contrary to that, I kind of, move away from that because that's not the direction I'm heading. And so I go to say that is a lot of guys that I grew up with, and I love them to death, and I still gonna love them to the part, but they not moving in the direction that I'm moving in now. So I had to start separating myself, not even say separate myself, but distancing myself, because you got to learn how to limitate yourself with people. Everybody deserves a limitation. And you got to learn limitations. You don't, you're gonna drive yourself crazy, and I don't want no aneurysm. At the end, I don't want this to be, this not gonna be just where I reside. I got purpose, and it's just applying it. And that's what I've been doing, man, just applying that purpose. Applying, pouring in, putting on the, being able to have the opportunity to speak on this podcast. Because it's crazy, man, that yesterday I almost got dragged into a situation because a guy, regardless of the fact however he looked at me, he happened to be from the city I'm from. But I see, like, we have an interaction of this conversation and joking behavior. But when I said something that kind of scarred the so-called image he had of himself, he took offense to it. And so he got mad and he got to saying what he's saying, like, you used to be this dude. I said, no, I'm still that dude. I'm just more of a controlled setting of that dude. I said, so if you everything you think you going however you think it's gonna play out, I promise you it's not gonna play out that way. Because there's nothing that you're gonna bring to the situation for you're not gonna do nothing to me that I'm gonna allow you to do. Regardless of whatever you think you're gonna do. But then I'm like, but then again, I said, you know what? I'm out of pocket because I'll open this door to even just having this conversation with you. 9 times out of 10, with me being free, me and you would never have the interaction among each other. And then he was like, what you trying? You saying first thing like you trying to belittle me. I said, it's not even about belittling. It's not that at all. But yeah, no problem. I said, I just know my place. You don't know yours. I know my place. I know where I exist. And 9 times out of 10, me and you won't even be sharing the same space out there on the street. Because just how you move, how you behave, how you interact, we wouldn't. I said, only just due to this situation.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Allow us to occupy this space. And that's only just a moment of time. It's only temporary.
Most definitely, man.
But I definitely appreciate you being able to give me this opportunity to share my story amongst y'all, especially just somebody that just may not know the story or heard bits and pieces, or the people that just got a misconstrued conception of me, or more so see the image and not really. I hope I brought more light to the character of who I am.
Most definitely, bro. I just want to say I appreciate you, man. This just the beginning, bro. We gonna get. I can't wait to see the day you come from behind them walls, bro. And this is just the beginning. I want to thank you. This is a message for the youth that they need to hear. It's a message for people who got a messed up image of you. And I just want to thank you and your pops, man. Because I'm very, very grateful for y'all to come on my platform and, get the word out.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for using GTL.